No, I agree. All right, so we'll go rolling with O'Malley there. So we'll pick on up the next one. We've got Sean Strickland versus Alex Pereira, depending on what part of the world you're from and how you say your R's. I'm sure there's some people out there that go Alex Pereira on
Pereira.
all those R's, but yeah, I'm rolling with Sean Strickland here, and I think that you want to talk about leaps in competition. This is a massive leap in competition for Alex Pereira, and the big thing is, right, I think a lot of people would agree. I've heard Chael talking about this. This is a number one contenders fight. And quick side note, another thing he said, it's craziest to think that Sean Strickland could be 2 fights away from being the face of a division in the UFC. And out of the bulk of the middleweight division, I actually think that Sean Strickland has one of the better chances of beating Izzy. And that'll become clear after he beats Alex this weekend, because Sean Strickland isn't like anything crazy on his feet, right? Like he walks forward, talks a lot of shit, and just lands crazy jabs over and over again. But one of the things that a lot of people have slept on about Sean Strickland is that he's got a really sneaky, really good grappling and ground game. And, we've seen him use it sparingly because he hasn't really had to. But you look back on a couple of his fights. I think you were saying it before we started. Uriah Faber, Uriah Hall, not Uriah Faber. Jesus, 2 completely different people. But and Sean Strickland, he trains jiu-jitsu heavily, and Alex Pereira, he struggles. He definitely struggles on the ground. He's a kickboxer by trade, and it doesn't look like he's trained on the ground as much as he should be. This is a Sean Strickland who is not worried about absorbing a couple of strikes, and can definitely deliver some back. We saw Pereira absorb a lot of bad strikes against Bruno Silva. He ultimately came out with the win in that one, but that was a really good fight, in terms of entertainment. But, when you look at like the pedestal that they're putting Alex Pereira on, he should have easily finished Bruno Silva. Took him to a decision where at the end of that fight, Alex was pretty tired. And he looked very, very cocky and was leaving himself open to a lot of things. That's not going to work for him well against Sean Strickland, who's just going to fire off that jab like a piston. And the second he sees the opportunity to put Pereira on his back, he's going to do it and control the fight. So I think, very clear cut. Sean Strickland is a very good underdog in this one. He's plus 100 going into this fight. I feel very confident about that plus money line. Alex Pereira, I don't think he's going to eke out the win. If he does, he's going to have to finish Sean Strickland. And Sean Strickland, out of the 2 of them, I think he's the smarter fighter. He does absorb shots, but, when he takes one, he gives one right back. So, yeah, I'm definitely rolling with Strickland in this one. I think the second thing's got a little hairy on the feet. He has the ability to take Alex down, and Alex doesn't have the ability to get back up, shimmy back to the fence, scoot up. I don't think that he has that in him. So Sean Strickland is going to snuff out the Alex Pereira hype train this weekend. What do you think about that one, Tom?
Yeah, I went both ways on this one. Initially, I was on Sean Strickland, and then I moved to Alex Pereira because, you got to figure if you're Alex Pereira, you want to keep this thing standing. So all you have to do, not all you have to do, but you're drilling takedown defense. And Sean Strickland's a guy who hasn't done a lot of shown off his grappling, should I say, in regular, in UFC bouts. If you're Alex Pereira, you want to keep this on the feet. You want to use your range. You want to use your kickboxing background. Sean Strickland is not super dynamic when it comes to his striking. He's going to jab you and he's going to hit you, with a right and then an overhand, but mostly jabs, keep you at distance and just piece up your face. That being said, I was really worried that Sean Strickland is going to go after and try to take down Pereira, and Pereira is going to catch him with a knee on the inside and use some of that kickboxing and some clinch work. But at the end of the day, here was the real deciding factor for me. Everybody talks about Sean Strickland and his ground game that is underutilized. He was doing really well in his grappling bout. I think it was I forget who he was grappling. I want to say it was Jack Hermanson. I could be wrong on that. I think I am. Andrew Morono, he was grappling.
I don't know, Andy Varela.
When he was about to go for it, and at the end he like tried something crazy and ended up getting locked up in a choke and just was
Yeah.
like whatever. Yeah. So I mean, listen, this is a guy who he obviously can grapple. He just does grappling only bouts. Like he's good at that. But the real deciding factor is that this is a guy who's trained with Hamza. He trains with Till. He trains all over the place. And after training with Hamza and Darren Till gave an interview where Darren Till said, "Hey, watch out for Strickland by submission." I think what Strickland is trying to do is kind of bait Alex Bahia into being, a little bit comfortable on the feet. I think he's going to be the like, oh yeah, no, like what he always does. He's going to be talking to him. He's going to be like, come on, hit me, hit me, hit me. He's been saying, let's have a man's fight. Let's not hug and let's not kiss and roll around on the ground. Like, I think he's trying to bait Bahia into not worrying about the takedown. He's going to stand with him a little, take him down. And I mean, he would be silly not to, right? Like, why would you stand and fight with a kickboxing champion? Like, if you're playing football, right, and they have an amazing run defense, and you have a really, really underrated pass offense, why would you continue to run the ball down their throat? Like, you would run it a little bit just to mix it up, but ultimately, you're going to throw the ball. Like, if they have no cornerbacks, you're going to throw the ball. So, and that's essentially what we're looking at here. So, I think Strawn Strickland's going to be able to take him down. He's also, he's there's just a giant hole in Alex Bahia's game here. The other thing that makes me swing in the Bahia side is that I think the UFC really, really wants that Izzy versus Bahia matchup, and I don't think the UFC kind of being in bed with ESPN and Disney, like I don't think they necessarily want Sean Strickland to have a lot of notoriety. But then again, whatever sells, whatever sells. I mean, it's a tough one, but I think I'm gonna have to go with Strickland just because a uh, he's got an aspect that Bahia doesn't bring to the fight, and I think he's going to use his mouth, try to bait him into it, and I mean, Bahia speaks English, right?
Maybe. I don't know. I haven't really heard him give an interview.
So that's another thing too. It's kind of hard to bait a guy who doesn't speak English. So
yeah. Although
I mean,
sometimes I've noticed is when they say things through the translators, I feel like the translators put like a little extra bit of spice on it. And, sometimes the international, like look at Jose Aldo versus Connor, just crazy example. But, it seemed like those translators put like an extra little bit of spice on it, like, to emphasize the fact that the other guy is talking shit. So maybe that'll happen with Alex Bahia, as we get to the press conference, which I'm really looking forward to. The press conference and all the media.
And here's one more thing that I just forgot. Mousasi got absolutely annihilated 5 straight rounds.
Yeah.
The guy who beat him called out Sean Strickland. He got out wrestled, and the guy who called him out, or the guy who won, called out Sean Strickland. Thank you so much for your help. So I mean, I think there's a lot of clues here.
Yeah.
That are leading to Strickland is going to go out there and show everybody his grappling ability and how he's going to beat Alex Bahia here. I don't know if I feel super duper confident, but I would lay more. I would feel better laying money on Strickland than I would on Bahia. So that's where I'm going.
Yeah, that is another big thing too. Is Sean Strickland trains with like literally everybody. One of my guys, I really like Chris Curtis. They're big time training partners. You see him jumping around. He goes to Ruka, trains with everybody there. So yeah, I actually feel very good about Sean Strickland this weekend. And only way Alex Bahia wins this one is by shutting Sean's lights off with his hands or with a knee, maybe a kick. But Sean could win it all 3 ways. So, lots of paths to victory for him. And I like the underdog money. So